just go for it, just start practicing, just watch the videos, just start, because everyone starts at the same level. So you can think of, oh, I'm starting, but I'm not good enough because this person is doing this or that and it looks amazing. But yeah, that person was at that stage where you are at some point in their life. So everyone started at zero.
Welcome to the Passion Behind the Art Show. It's all about diving in with individuals to learn the story behind their passion. It's your host, Daryl Pinkham. Well, it's another awesome week, another great guest, and another opportunity for me to bring you value through someone else's story. But before we jump into that, I'm just so excited that episode 100 is coming up, and it's gonna be amazing. If you know about episode 50, I did a 9-hour live stream with about 12 guests, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do something similar to that again. So to learn more, go to passionbehindtheart.com/100. That's passionbehindtheart.com/100. Episode 100. It's coming and I'm so excited about it. Remember, subscribe, leave a review on iTunes. We are on Spotify, we are on TuneIn Radio, we are on Apple Podcasts, we are on Stitcher. That's passionbehindtheart.com to learn about everything that we are doing and what's going on with the podcast and what's the next moves. So without further ado, let's jump into this week's episode. Well, I am excited to have Andrea Rosell on the Passion Behind the Art show. Just excited to have her on the show. Great lettering artist. Andrea, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited as well.
Awesome. All right, so let's jump right into it. How did your creative journey start?
Well, I was thinking today, and it actually started a while ago. I remember that it all started kind of in high school. I remember I used to letter my friends' names and like with different styles and different typography and colors and stuff like that. But obviously I didn't know that was a thing back then. I didn't know like people did this for a living. It was just like a hobby, and I was just, like just drawing for fun. And in fact, I remember then after 6th grade, my dad and my mom got me like this prime color box of pencils. And it was like the bomb back then. It was like the best gift you could ever give me. And I didn't even get them out of the box, like into a pencil case. I was like, seeing you couldn't do that. So I kept them in the box, and I used them only for special things, like not for homework or anything like that. It was just for, specific projects that I did. And it was just like nobody could ever touch my Prismacolor pencils. But yeah, like after that, like it just went away for a while, like, with uni and stuff like that, like life happened. And it was up to like, I think it was maybe 2 years ago, I was in maternity leave. And then I started watching these videos, like lettering and calligraphy videos. And I started seeing like, oh, people actually do this. And, and the videos look so cool. So I just started. But immediately after that, like I couldn't do it with like new baby and stuff. So it was like too much for me. So it was only like for a couple months and stopped. And then I really got into it in February last year, so almost a year ago. And that's when I started like the Instagram account, and I started putting more effort into it, researching and getting new pens and like type of paper. Like who knew? Like you have to have like the right type of paper for your pens, and it's just a whole world that I didn't have any idea about. And it was so nice to start, doing this, and I just fell in love. Like, yeah, that was like a year ago,
Wow.
and since then it's been nonstop.
That is so cool. So like, what was like the coolest thing that came from just starting this? Like, what was some of the cool things that happened and that you was like, wow.
Well, for starter, I didn't think that people would follow me on this story. So it was a shock to me that, well, firstly, that a lot of people do this as well. So I didn't know that the lettering community was so big. And I've met a lot of great artists and letterers, and it's been really good to connect with those people as well. So it's been nice, having that relationship with people who understand what you're going through as well, people who are starting, people who are just, in their journey, and it's been really good. But yeah, it's just been a shock to me that people actually, follow me and go through the journey with me. And people now like asking questions that, what do you do? And this, and I'm like, oh my God, that was me like a year ago asking other artists like the same questions. And it's overwhelming in a good way, to be that person who people come to ask stuff. I'm obviously not saying that I'm the best out there or anything like that, but it's nice to be noticed. And it's been really nice to be in that journey along with other artists as well.
Oh, that's cool. That is cool. Yes, the lettering community is huge. So what would you say was the hardest thing that you had to overcome through this process?
Well, I think it was like I said, it started so long ago and then it stopped. And I think the reason it stopped is because I didn't really knew I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Like it's kind of weird. Like you're expected to know everything at 17 years old when you're graduating from high school. Like what do you want to do for the next 50 years of your life? It's like, I have no idea.
That is true.
So for me, it was a struggle a little bit in that area because I was like, oh, I really don't know what I like. And I have a older brother, and we're only like a year and a half apart. And he was like so focused, and he knew exactly what he wanted to do. Like he was so good at science and math and physics and all of that, and he wanted to be an engineer. And I was like, I have no idea. It was a little bit of pressure, just like feeling someone else has all this stuff together and they know exactly what they want to do, and I was like, no idea. I studied like 3 different uni degrees, trying to find out what I liked. I graduated just from one or from the 3 of them. And I ended up studying business because I thought, well, I don't like anything, and at least business will help me in the future if I ever want to become my own boss and create my own company and things like that. So I was like, well, at least this is useful for something.
All right.
But obviously it wasn't my passion or anything like that. It was just something that I ended up studying just to have a degree because, my dad was like, you have to have a university degree. So I was like, okay, so much pressure. So that was it. And I think that's been a struggle because I don't know, like at this point, obviously after I've discovered lettering, I know I love what I do now, and I see myself doing this for the next 50 years. And it's such a relief to feel this way after so many years trying to figure out what to do or trying to figure out like if you're good at anything. So it's been great since I started, and I think that's one of the reasons that I put so much work into it is because I just enjoy doing it so much. But yeah, it's just a struggle, I think, and a lot of people also go through that because it's just unreasonable sometimes to expect a 17-year-old like to decide what to do. for the rest of their
Right.
life.
It's true.
They're so young, like you don't know. You could,
Right. It's true.
like my
It's true.
brother, but like not always is the
So now that you are doing this, right? How are you generating revenue from this? Like, are you generating revenue from this? Is this just a hobby right now? Like, how are you going about that?
Well, I'm generating some kind of revenue, like not huge amounts or anything like that. I still have my 8 to 5 job. So obviously, like my goal will be eventually to dedicate my 100% of my time to this. But at this stage, I don't think I know 100% where I want to take this journey to. I don't know if like there's so much like like I was saying, the lettering community is so big, and also the options are so many. Like
Yes.
you could do prints, you could do teaching, you could do lettering resources, or you can do crafts, and just like a whole range of options that you have. And I don't think I'm at that point in my life where I know exactly where I want to go in that area. I found that for the last few months that the things that I like the most are the lettering resources part of it. So I've been creating Procreate brushes and things like that, and I'm working on like a lettering workbook. We will have like drills and different styles so people can start, like people who are starting this journey with it. And I think that is the part that is interesting me the most at this stage. So I opened an Etsy shop, and that's where I sell mostly like all my stuff. But I don't have a website yet and things like that. So it's still very raw and very basic in terms of creating it it's more like a hobby at this stage. Hopefully it will be a business later on, and I can just take it to that next level. But at this stage, it's just me trying to figure out what I want to do, and because I keep learning. Like I feel like I have so much to learn yet. That like I don't feel that I'm at that stage where I can start getting paid for my work, if that makes sense. Like everyone struggles a little bit with like self-doubt in that area as well. Like, am I, good enough to be paid for this or not? And I think that's where I'm at the moment.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you have a good start.
Thanks.
Make no mistake, you have a good start. And yes, you are good enough to get paid.
Thank you so much.
You
that
are.
means a lot.
But for some reason, we as creative people, no matter who I talk to, we tend to struggle with that, waiting for someone or just waiting for some kind of some acceptance to say, okay, you're good enough to do this. But in all actuality, most of the times that we are good enough. It's just for us to kind of just believe that we are. Because, we almost every creative that I know, we all go through that at some point to say, am I good enough for someone to pay me to do this? But 9 times out of 10 we are, but we all go through it. So people that's been doing lettering for a long time that I know go through that sometimes. So you're not alone. You're not
That's
alone.
good to hear. At least someone else thinks the same.
Yes, indeed. So did you grow up in Brisbane, Australia?
No, I've been living here for 8 years. So I'm from Venezuela in South America. I decided to move here with my boyfriend at the time, my husband now, 8 years ago. And Yeah, it's I think that's part of everything as well. Like leaving everyone else behind, like my family and friends, and just taking that leap and then just
Wow.
going. um, it's kind of amazing because like you experience so much stuff that you wouldn't if you like,
True.
but still like it's hard sometimes. And um, but yeah, that I'm so grateful, I think, for what Brisbane has given me as well, and Australia in general. Um, and I think I discovered, I don't know if I would have discovered lettering if I stay back home. So um, you have
Mhm.
to think of that way, like things happen for a reason, and maybe I'm here doing this because of moving to Australia.
Wow. So you didn't even just, okay, move to like the other side of Venezuela, far away. You like went to a
Yeah,
completely different country, different
yeah,
culture, different
yeah.
everything.
And I was
Wow.
22 years old. So a bit crazy at that time, but yeah. Yeah, it's just
That's cool though.
yeah, it is. It's just, well, things were happening back home and there still are. And I think when you don't feel safe in a place, you start thinking about your options and thinking about, well, I'm gonna give my safety a priority in my life and to my future and my future kids and stuff like that. So even at 22, you think about this kind of thing. So those were like the reasons why we decided to move away. And I think it's been hard, like I said, but it's like the best decision I've ever made.
Wow, that's cool. I like that. I like that. Even though I don't hear the Australian accent as of
No,
yet.
it must be my South American accent. I was talking to my husband today. I'm like, oh, I'm so nervous because of this, because I obviously like English is not my first language, so you can tell when someone's not like, um,
Nah, you're great. You're doing great. Doing
thank
awesome.
you.
That's awesome. I'm hoping to go to Australia one of these
Oh,
days.
it should.
So,
So beautiful.
yes. So, have you heard of a conference called Typism?
Yes.
Okay, you should go.
Yes. I should, right?
Yes. I know the coordinator for that conference, and I know a couple people that have spoken at that conference. If you should go to that conference.
Yeah. All right. I'll listen to you. I'll do my research and I'll go.
Yes. So, who were some of the people that kind of empowered you and showed you a lot of support as you were growing in this venture?
Well, I have to say that my biggest supporter is my husband, definitely. He's always been like really into finding our own passions. So it's really inspiring as well because I know he does it for himself every day. Like he is very focused on finding meaningful things to do with his life. Um,
Mm,
which is I think is very cool. So ever since I started this journey, he's been like really, really supportive. Um, I remember when I hit 500 followers on Instagram, he got me like a nice wine bottle, and my iPad, the one that I'm using at this stage, and I was like, thank you so much. I was
that is
so
awesome.
excited for it. And it was, like even the smallest achievements, there are achievements. So, and they have to be celebrated. I don't mean that you have to, like get everything like something new every time you hit a target, but, it's nice to feel appreciated for your hard work um, and all of that. So it was really cute of him to do that, and he also like likes all my posts and comments. And he doesn't know anything about lettering, but he will comment something. And I have some friends that do the same. They're like, I'm always liking and commenting your posts. I'm like, yes, thank you. And they will do, and then they will comment on like relevant stuff, which is amazing.
Awesome.
So it's nice to have, those kind of people behind you when you are trying to figure out something new and to make something of yourself in a new industry. So to have that support, I think it makes a difference, because it makes you not quit the days that you're feeling down, the days that you're like, oh, I don't know if I should keep going, and then you get that comment from a friend, or that little push that you need, and it's so important just to keep going, and it's part of it. It's part of the journey as well.
That is cool. That is true. It's very important to have support, because there are the days when you don't really feel like doing anything, or just feel like, and just to have that support, that's very important.
It is.
So what is that thing that Andrea can't live without that's not her phone?
Well, it's it's not my phone, but very similar. I would say my iPad.
Oh, makes sense.
Because that's what my lettering comes. Like, I try to stick to paper and pen sometimes, but the iPad is so handy. Like, I can be in bed and then just lettering,
it just makes everything easier.
Exactly. So I can be pretty much anywhere, and I can be lettering. Sometimes it's I think it's good and bad, because sometimes you can't let it go. Sometimes you're like, yeah, I have to put it away, because I'm like all day my hand hurts. But it's nice as well, to have that. It's so handy to have. You can take it everywhere, and it's not like you have to take 20 pens and different kinds of papers and stuff everywhere you go. Like, you just grab your iPad and
you gotta walk with a pouch full of pens.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, it's really important to go back to pen and paper from time to time, because you lose that muscle memory from. It's different.
Right.
It's not the same technique. It's not the same movement. And if I spend so much time on my iPad and then months and then go back to pen and paper, I'm like, oh my God, I need to practice more, because I'm not getting good. So, but yeah, definitely my iPad, I will 100% say that I can't live without at this point.
Awesome. So what is the first hour of your day like?
It's very hectic, to be honest. I have a 2-year-old, so getting ready in the morning is very run. So it's just wake up, take a shower, wake up my toddler, dress him up for daycare, and just go out of the house in half an hour. I normally listen to podcasts with my husband on our way to work after we drop Diego off daycare. And I was listening to one of these mornings, and it said, oh, my morning routine, what I do. So this person would wake up and make their bed and meditate. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't do that. I'll have to wake up at 4 a.m. if I want to do that. I would love to have a more calm routine in the morning, but it just, I think with that toddler is a little bit hard to achieve. So my bed is not made, and things like that. I stay 2 days at home with him. So I'm only working part-time at the moment. So on those 2 days, it's a little bit more relaxed. So we wake up and I will just make breakfast for the two of us, and we'll spend the morning, just playing and things like that. So they're a little bit different. But the days I have to go to work, it's just one thing after the other, and then we're out. And coffee, very important.
Very important. Oh, that's funny. So, excuse me. Book recommendations.
All right. So for books, like I used to be like a real geek and read so much when I was growing up. And then my baby came, and I haven't had the time to read in 2 years, which is like I shouldn't blame time for it, because I think if you like, you have to make the time if you want to, right? But it's not like a priority at this stage. So
All right.
I feel like after my days ended and I just have like an hour to myself, I just talk to my husband, and or we watch a little bit of TV and stuff, just something that will relax myself.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like reading, it will be like putting more on my brain, and I don't want anything else. But I have a bunch of books in my night table, like waiting to be read, because my husband reads a lot,
Oh,
and he's
that's awesome.
recommending books all the time to me. But I'm more like of a novel person. I will
Mm.
read like Agatha Christie and things like that, like things like not like you don't have to put your mind into it so much. um, like after a day at work and dealing with the baby and stuff and everything, you just want to relax. And yeah, that's the honest thing to say. Like I haven't read a book.
So do you have any novels that you want to recommend?
Well, I love the like all the Agatha Christie ones. I love that. Um, Let me see, because I can't remember the name in English, but I think it's called Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
think that's the English title of the book, because I read it in Spanish. So, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the title in English. So, Murder on the Orient Express, and it's
Okay.
one of her books. And I just love those like mystery kind of books when you have to figure out who the murderer is, and because I never do, like I really try to think outside the box, and I'm like, that definitely is the person who killed him, but it's never the person. So
Never the right person.
yeah, I always love the surprise at the end of the book. And it always surprised me. I've read so many books from her, and still surprise me. So that's what I like. So yeah,
Okay.
I would recommend any of her books. They're all amazing.
Well, that's a book recommendation. That's one indeed. So, what is next for Andrea?
Um, well, I think for me, I really want to. I didn't have. Well, I'm not gonna say that I didn't have the opportunity, but because I didn't know that people did this for a living, I didn't really um had it as an option to study it. Um, so I don't know the theory behind the lettering. So I would love, that would be like, I think my next step is just do some courses that typography, color theory, like graphic design or anything that relates in some way to lettering. Because I think like everything I know is what I've seen on Instagram or things that I learned from my own experience. Um, but I would love to really know about more about the theory behind it. And I think it's important if you want to take your hobby to business. Um, so I really want to put that knowledge behind the passion, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That it makes 100%. So, what advice would you have for someone that wants to do this, wants to start doing this? What advice would you have for them?
I always get this question, and I think the best advice that I could get, like I could give to someone that is starting, is just start. So sometimes we overthink it too much, and it's like, oh, but I don't know where to start. should I do? And I think it's just if you want to do it, just grab pen and paper and just go for it. Just start practicing. Just watch the videos. Just start, because everyone starts at the same level. So you can think of, oh, I'm starting, but I'm not good enough because this person is doing this or that and it looks amazing. But yeah, that person was at that stage where you are at some point in their life. So everyone started at zero. So I think, do not overthink it. Just start. If it's a passion of yours, you owe it to yourself to dig into that and do it. So just go for it.
Awesome. Well, Andrea, really appreciate you coming on. Where can people go to find you to learn more about what you're doing?
Well, because like I said, I don't have a website. I only have my Instagram. So that will be at Letters by Andre. So it's Andre. So that's my Instagram account, and that's where I post all my lettering things. And that's the only channel I'm using at the moment. I also use Facebook, but I'm not as active on Facebook right now. So I'm just relying 100% on Instagram at this stage. And hopefully I'll get into other channels and build a website eventually.
Makes sense. Well, again, Andrea, thank you for coming on. Thank you for doing this. Keep up the good work and just keep going.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me and for this opportunity to share the knowledge and share my journey with you guys. So amazing experience.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. I hope it's been super valuable to you and you're now ready to take your audience building, your community growing to the next level to help you and help me build our empire, for lack of a better word, or just to build our thing. Remember to stop by iTunes, Passion Behind the Art, and leave a review and subscribe. It's very important to me. It helps the podcast grow, and it makes me feel good to kind of hear from you guys, to know what you like about this podcast, what it's done for you. So jump on iTunes and subscribe and leave a review. Passion Behind the Art. Be blessed.